Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to continue our rat run through this series that Marty Sears has created. This is the third puzzle. It's called Double Dutch, and we've covered the first two puzzles, which have both been excellent. Let me remind you of those. That was called Primer, because what's that, 6x6 grid, and the idea is you have to get Finkz the rat to the cupcake. And then this one was the second one, Tenacity. That was that 10 lines or something. I can't quite remember what the constraint was in that one. But now we're on this one, which is blackcurrants. So you can see there are blackcurrants in the grid, and cupcake and Dutch whispers is the constraint we'll be working with. But don't worry if you've not heard any of these expressions before. I will explain them when I read the rules. This has got something like a 98% approval rating and a wealth of wonderful comments, which is what you've come to expect really from Marty Sears. Surely one of the most original minds working in the world of Sudoku construction and puzzle construction generally at the moment. And I'm very much looking forward to having a go at this one. Now, news. I finished last night recording the videos of myself of Blob's Sudoku Hunt, The Lord of the Rings, which was our June reward. Have I got? Yes, I have. There we go. So this was this incredible Sudoku hunt that was our competition for last month. 10 puzzles in all. I managed to finish the Grey Havens last night, so they are all uploaded. If you're a $3 patron or above over on Patreon, you will be able to look at those videos and watch my my attempts to make my way through what was an incredibly enjoyable hunt. So massive thanks to Blobs for creating that. Now, July's competition is by Paws, another Sudoku hunt, this time filled with slightly smaller puzzles, so mostly 6x6 puzzles. Already hundreds of you have managed to work your way through that hunt, and the feedback is very much what we were hoping for. We do publish quite a lot of hard puzzles over on Patreon, but the intention with July, with it being a holiday month, was that it should be approachable for even newcomers to the world of variant Sudoku. So it won't take you too long if you're experienced at solving them, and even if you're not experienced, you should be able to solve all of the puzzles in Paws Hunt. So do check that out. It's over there and live right now. And then now I have got a birthday to do, but it's not a birthday that's actually for today. It's for Simon, not me. I wish I was born on the 28th of June this year, but unfortunately I wasn't. But little Simon was born on the 28th of June to Maya and to Lasse over there in Denmark. Happy and healthy. And apparently Simon has already watched his first episode of Cracking the Cryptic. He watched Mislabeled Killers, which was, I think, a Captain Zebra Cakes puzzle I did a couple of days ago during feeding time. So well done, Simon, for already getting in to this wonderful world. I guess you can't have chocolate cake at this early stage. Maybe your parents can have chocolate cake, and many congratulations to the two of you on the arrival of your young son. That's all the news, I think. Have I got anything else? No, I don't think so. Let's have a look at the rules of Rat Run 3 Double Dutch by Marty Sears. They are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply, which means we have to put the digits 1 to 9 in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. The aim of the experiment this time is that Finkz the rat must reach the cupcake by finding a path through the maze. The path will be a snaking line that passes through the centres of cells without visiting any cell more than once, crossing itself, or passing through any thick maze walls. Okay, well that's sort of what we'd expect. As well as moving orthogonally, an orthogonal movement is across an edge. So that is that Finkz would be moving orthogonally if just going horizontally along there. As well as moving orthogonally, Finkz may move diagonally if there's a 2x2 space in which to do so, but Finkz may never pass diagonally through a rounded end or corner of a wall. So, okay, so I might be wrong, but I think there are 3 opportunities only in this puzzle for Finkz to move diagonally. It looks like there, and there, possibly. there's sort of a 2 by 2 area. So Finkz, let me go to the line drawing tool. Finkz couldn't move like that because you can see that Finkz would travel through a rounded end if he took that path. So Finkz could do that, those sorts of things would be allowed, and I might have missed one somewhere else. Apologies if so, but that's the basic constraints on Finkz movement. Then it says blackcurrants. Cells connected by a blackcurrant have a 1:2 ratio, so one of the digits will be double the other. Not all possible blackcurrants have been given. And the test constraint: in this experiment, the correct path will be a valid Dutch whisper line, i.e. adjacent digits along the path must have a difference of at least 4. So imagine this square here was a 3, then and Finkz went this way, then this square here would have to be a 7, an 8 or a 9 in order to be at least 4 different from 3. That's how Dutch whisper lines work. I did see on the last on my last rat run, there were a couple of comments saying that they were unsure whether the path included the cell in which Finkz begun the journey and included the cupcake, which is obviously where Finkz ended the journey. And yes, I mean, hopefully it goes without saying that a path from here to there includes a start and an end of the path, which is this cell and this cell. So this cell needs to obey that Dutch whisper rule, as does this one. So do not be in any doubt about that if you were. And they are all of the rules of the puzzle. Do have a go. These are brilliant fun. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, perhaps it's worth, is it, at the start, just that I don't know many secrets of Dutch whispers lines. I only know one, basically, and it's an extrapolation of a German whispers line secret. So maybe I should just outline that. So let me go to my path drawing tool again. So let's say Finkz goes into these 3 squares. Now, because of this requirement that the digits oscillate, if you like, in value, they have to have a difference of at least 4. Let's think about how that would work if... Well, let's firstly revisit German whisper line rules. And the reason for doing this is just to bring home a point. So on a German whispers line, and on a German whispers line, digits have to differ by 5 or more. You can't put a 5 on the line, because if you do that, the next digit's impossible, because there are no Sudoku digits that are 5 different from 5. And that means you get this oscillation of high then low. You get a digit below 5, say, a digit above 5, a digit below 5, etc., etc. Now, Dutch whispers lines almost work the same way. However, so they almost go low, high, low, high, low, high, although you never know whether they start with a low or a high digit. But there is one possibility where they don't do that. And that is if the digit 5 appears on the line, because let's make this the digit 5 and see how that works. Now you can see that actually those 2 squares, there are only 2 digits that are 4 at least away from 5, and they are the digits 1 and 9. So let's say this was 1 and this was 9. Now, if we're expecting this line to oscillate and go lower than 5, higher than 5, lower than 5, higher than 5, you can see it doesn't here, because this digit is lower than 5, so I'd expect this digit to be lower than 5, and it's not, it's higher than 5. So the polarity along the line can change on a Dutch whispers line if a 5 sort of acts as the conduit that allows that change to happen. So I appreciate I'm probably overcomplicating this, but that is literally the only trick I know with Dutch whispers lines. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? So if Finkz does go this way, let's go back to drawing the line. So let's say Finkz does go this way. You can see that actually Finkz will have to go through a 5 to do that. And the reason we can say that must be true is that in row 1, is it possible for this digit to be a 5? Well, it's not, because this is on a blackcurrant. And a blackcurrant operates like a black kropki dot. And we need a digit here that's either half of 5 or double 5. Well, 2.5 and 10 are not Sudoku digits. So in fact, the 5 would be on the path. But what's to say it couldn't be actually Finkz? If that was a 5, that would be a 1 or a 9. And then after that, you would get oscillation. So there isn't necessarily a change of polarity. But if... Oh, okay, that's quite interesting. Sorry, let me just back out of that. If Finkz does go through a blackcurrant... Yeah, okay. So let's think about that. How could that happen? How could Finkz do this? Because these two digits have to be at least 4 apart. Now let's think about the various black dot relationships or blackcurrant relationships that exist in Sudoku. We could have 1 and 2, couldn't we? Because 2 is double 1. We could have 2 and 4. We could have 3 and 6. But in each of those pairings, the digits are not 4 at least apart. So I think you can only go through a blackcurrant with a 4-8 pair. Now, how does that work then? So if Finkz did come along the top row, Finkz couldn't go through there, look, because that would be... Wow, okay. Wow. All right, so this is what we have to think about, actually, because... Yeah. Okay, so let's imagine Finkz does go do-do-do-do-do-do, because that's how Finkz moves. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Sorry, I have to mention this. There was a tweet earlier that came up on my Twitter feed that did make me laugh. And it was a tweet of the sort of... legendary, is legendary too strong a word to describe Dennis Healey? Very famous Labour politician in the UK. Dennis Healey was being interviewed on a breakfast show in this tweet. But actually, it was on The Breakfast Show by Chris Evans and 2 sort of puppet characters called Zig and Zag. And Dennis Healey, he had very bushy eyebrows, was sort of looking at Zig and Zag, obviously completely perplexed as to why he'd been asked to have a conversation with Chris Evans and with Zig and Zag. And the tweet was Dennis Healey, possibly the only person to have met Stalin and Zig and Zag. And I thought that was very funny. Sorry. That's my anecdote for the day. I'll get my coat. Right, anyway, let's get back to it. Why was I thinking about Dennis Healey? And why was I thinking... Oh, yeah, no, I was thinking about how Finkz moved. So, let's say Finkz goes along here, and he goes through a 4-8 pair. Well, what happens then? Because... Well, one thing that Finkz is not doing is that. Because if Finkz does that, this has to be a 4-8 pair. And that's going to be too many 4s and 8s in that little sequence. So Finkz doesn't do that. Now if Finkz sort of decides not to go south and instead goes this way, Finkz doesn't do loops. Finkz has to get out of the maze. So Finkz has to go down there, but that has to be a 4-8 pair, and that's going to put too many 4s and 8s in box 2, so Finkz doesn't do that. But if Finkz goes down here, Now this is where I was a bit less certain about what happens now. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, because if Finkz does drop down here, Finkz could turn right again. There's no point Finkz going up here, because then Finkz will hit the path that Finkz has already been on. So Finkz is going to have to do that. And this is going to be a 4-8 pair, and that's going to be a 4-8 pair. And that's going to put too many 4s and 8s this time in row 4. So Finkz doesn't do that. Now, what happens if Finkz goes left then? Well, Finkz then has to do that and go round this sort of U-bend at the bottom of the grid. And that doesn't work, because that will be a 4-8 pair, and that will be a 4-8 pair. And I've got too many 4s and 8s now in box 7. So I actually think, I'm just going to let me give this a quick moment, because if this is an incorrect deduction, anything that follows from it is obviously going to be quite profoundly wrong. There's no way, is there, that Finkz can go here and then up? Because Finkz isn't allowed to touch the path. I'm sure I read that. Finkz can't visit any cell more than once. Can't cross it. The path can't cross itself either. So there's no point doing anything like this. That's just total nonsense. No, I don't think Finkz can go. I don't think Finkz can go left here, because I don't understand how Finkz gets out of the various rat runs that Finkz would enter. So Finkz is going to have to go right, at least to here. And that is our first, well, it's not a deduction, but that is a 4-8 pair now. But we have to be a bit careful still, don't we? Because otherwise we're going to run into the same problem. So yeah, if Finkz went south through this blackcurrant, so he eats the blackcurrant and then continues down to here, we know Finkz can't turn left, because Finkz can't go into the U-bend. This is the U-bend of death for Finkz. That doesn't work. Finkz can't go up again, because that's going to create... Finkz is then going to cross the path. So Finkz has to go there, and that can't work, because again we're going to have 4-8 here and 4-8 here, and there's too many 4s and 8s in column 5. So I think... Okay, yeah, I do sort of see vaguely what's happening here. If Finkz eats... Or if Finkz enters a cell in which Finkz had the opportunity to eat a blackcurrant, but decides not to eat it and instead continues on, then there is no requirement for this domino to be a 4-8 pair, because it only has to be a 4-8 pair if you continue through the blackcurrant and chomp it. If you chomp the blackcurrant, then those two squares have to be 4 apart, as well as fulfilling the criteria that they have. Well, one digit has to be double the other. But if you... I mean, if this was a 1... Well, obviously that's a 2 by black dot logic, but there's no requirement. Even if Finkz re-enters this square, well, then we might have to worry about polarity. We would have to worry about polarity, unless there was some sort of 159 trick going on. Yeah, but okay, so this doesn't have to be 4-8 now. That's the key point. But okay, so Finkz arrives in this square, is what I'm now claiming. Now, where does Finkz go? Well, we know that Finkz doesn't go down the U-bend of death, and we know that Finkz doesn't go this way, because if Finkz goes this way, this will be a 4-8, and these two squares will be a 4-8. So Finkz now goes south from here. This is a bit strange, because now Finkz... Well, hang on. Well, Finkz does go down there. No, that's okay. That's okay, because this doesn't have to be a 4-8. This is really interesting. So it has to do that, because that's a 4-8. That blackcurrant's been chomped. This is not a 4/8. But we know Finkz can't go down the U-bend of death, so Finkz does go through here as well. So that again is a 4/8, further confirming this is not a 4/8. So okay, right. And here, this is lovely. It's lovely in the sense that it's interesting, and I understand the idea here. If we now look at these squares, if I just make those green for a moment. Now, obviously, 4, if this is a 4, this is not a 4, it's an 8, isn't it? And if this is an 8, this is a 4. So these are not the same polarity. And yet, so imagine there was no 5 on this string of digits. Imagine those, hang on, let's just get rid of all of the colouring. On this string of digits, imagine there is no 5. Well, then this should operate exactly like a German whispers line, and every alternate cell should be of the same polarity. It should either be below 5 or above 5. So dub, 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 they should all either be below 5 or above 5. Well, they're not, because these are definitely not of the same polarity. One is higher than 5, one is lower than 5. So there must be a 5 in this string of digits to allow this 4/8 thing to exist. So there is a 5 in one of those squares. Right. Now 5 is not a black dot digit, we know that. And we also know that 5 in the middle of a whispers line is surrounded on both its sides by 1s and 9s. It's not surrounded by 4s and 8s, so that's not a 5. That's not a 5. Oh, and if that's a 5, that would be a 1. That would be a 2. Not sure. In fact, probably what we want to do here is to do some sort of polarity colouring, isn't it? Let's make that green. And we know that this is not green. So if this is 4, this has to be 8. So it's the other sort of colour, isn't it? And we know that whenever 5 is not involved, we can colour, i.e. that can't be 5, because 5 can only be next to 1 and 9 on these lines, so we can colour that. We can't colour this because that might be a 5. We can't colour this might be a 5. This one has to be green. That one can't be 5, so that gets coloured. That one, that's next to a 4 or an 8, so that gets coloured. That one, we can't put 5 there, so that's also colourable. That's or it's next to a 4 or an 8. That's the other way we could colour it. So we can colour that, we can colour that, we can colour lots of things. Right. Okay, so now I understand. Because now, look at these. Hang on. That's right. Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. So purple is a different polarity, i.e. it's different vis-a-vis its relationship to 5 than green is. One of these is a higher than 5 digit, one of these is a lower than 5 digit. But they cross a black dot and they're not 4/8. So they are 3/6. That's the only other option. They can't be 1 and 2. They would be on the same side of 5. 2 and 4 are on the same side of 5. So this is a 3/6 pair. Yeah, and oh, this is beautiful. Right, now that's not 5. Because if that was 5, it's too close to 3 or 6. It's got to be at least 4 different. So that's the 5. So that's 5. That is not purple or green. We'll make that blue. That one is now allowed to be, that's got to be green, because its relationship to this purple digit is consistent. It's not affected by 5-liness. And so these are obviously now 1-9 pair. Oh, okay. So what's that digit then? That digit is not 1, it's not 159 and it's not 48. So it's 2, 3, 6 or 7. But it's not, no. Okay, so this digit can't be 3, 6, can it? It can't be from a 3 or a 6, because these two digits are not now far enough apart. So that digit is 2 or 7. But if that's... this is weird. Okay, because that... right. Oh, well, yeah, okay, what I could have done, I suppose, is just say, of the options for this digit, which are, I think, 2, 3, 6 and 7 by Sudoku, which of those digits can be next to a digit that's 3 or 6? Because unless I'm not thinking clearly, which is possible, especially after my zig and zag story, if this... oh no, hang on, that's okay. Ah, no, I'll do it the other way round then. Haha! I will say, look at this, look at the relate. I can't do it vis-a-vis this one, but I can do it vis-a-vis this one. Yeah, look at these two squares. How could that be a 7? If it's 7, what could you put here? You can't put 8 or 4. They'd be too close to it. So that digit is actually a 2. And that gives us the polarity look. So now this digit is low, so green is always the low of the two options. Look, this is beautiful. And purple is always high of its options. So that digit is... well, it's also got to be 4 different from this. So that digit is 8 or 9. And all of a sudden we've got a flurry of activity in the grid. This digit is 1, 2 or 3, I think. 4 is in one of those two squares by Sudoku. Ah, right. That we could do better than that. What's this digit? Forget about 4. Just think about, we need a black dot pair that can go on here. This digit here can't be 1, 2 or 3 or 6. So this digit can only be 4 or 8, I think. And if it's 8, this would be a 4 and it would clash. So I think that has to be a 4 just by sort of dint of its options. So this is a 2 now because it can't be an 8 because the 8 would clash. So this is 4 and 2. They're both low digits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is this helpful? We could now say one of these is an 8. That's certainly true. Okay, what do we need to complete row 2? We need 3 and we need 7. So 3 is in one of those two squares by Sudoku. Bobbins, okay. We might now have to think about what the path does next. Which is... I don't know. I don't have any strong views about... Do I have any strong views about it? I mean, it looks like it could go south. If it goes south and then turns that way, that doesn't work because this can't be a 4-8 pair because there's already been 4-8. Yeah, I do. That's the only downside about these rat race puzzles, is seeing the sort of Sudoku boxes beneath the orange. I find slightly discombobulating. But if we look there, that is a Sudoku box. So the path definitely doesn't go through those two squares because that would be a 4-8 pair. Okay, well, forget that for a moment. The path doesn't go through there, look, I've just noticed, because there's a 4 and an 8 in this column. Right, so this square is on the path. That's interesting. Sorry, I realised that. poor Helen and Matt the other day had to actually experience meeting me at a party. Poor people. But yeah, the sorts of things I find interesting are that the path definitely goes to this square. But I don't know how it goes to this square. Although, the fact it goes to this square, I now know it goes south, don't I? And the reason I think it goes to this square is it either goes down immediately like that, and then obviously it's gone to this square, or it goes up here and comes along here and goes down here, whoopsie, and gets here. Now it can't go south now, because that can't be a 4-8 pair, so it would have to enter this box thing and find its way back through here to this square. So this is on the path, and we know we can't go that way from it, so we must go down. Which is very interesting, but perhaps not. Perhaps not the most brilliant deduction in the world. This can't be a 3-6 pair. Okay, so this is not a 3-6 pair because that would break this. And it's not a 4-8 pair because that would break this. So it's either a 1-2. Oh, so it... Hang on, so it... I want to say it is a 1-2 pair then. Because it can't be a 2-4 pair by Sudoku. But if it's a 1-2 pair, that's a 1 and that's a 2. And that's going to be the wrong polarity. So... Ah! Something's gone wrong, I think. Hang on, what is this black dot? Just forget about Finkz. Finkz doesn't go through it. The possible back top pairs it could be... It must be a 1-2 pair. Sorry, yeah, this is obvious, isn't it? It is a 1-2 pair. But this is absolutely crucial. Because we can't now go directly down. Because 2 and 4 are not far enough apart, so we have to go up. Which means we have to go that way. I'm worried about this. I fear that I may have made an error. This digit is on the path and is at least 4 different. So this digit is now 8 or 9. Right, okay, so that means I've got an 8-9 pair in box 2. These squares are 5 and 7. That square's not a 2 anymore, look. So we need 1, 3 and 9. Ah, where's 9 in the top row? Oh no, we don't just need 1, 3 and 9. That's not true. We need 1, 3, 6 and 9. So 9 is up there. But that's not good enough to actually work anything out. Okay, well this square can't be a 5, so I can colour it at least. It has to be green. But that square could be a 5. Yeah, I mean, we are going to have to get a change of polarity, aren't we? Because if we... Oh no, that square can't be a 5 either, because that would need a 1-9 pair in these squares, and that would break here. Alright, so I can colour that one. Yeah, sorry, that's slightly more sophisticated as a point, but imagine this was a 5, which is the only way it's not purple. Because it can't be... We can't put 2 greens together. If this was a 5 and was blue, these would be a 1-9 pair, wouldn't they, on the path? And they can't be. So this square here is actually purple. And therefore it's only 6 or 7 because it's not allowed to be 8 or 9. So this square now can't be 4 because that would be too close. It could be 3. So no, it can't be 3 by Sudoku. Okay, so this is 1 or 2. Now, 4 or 6 is too close. Sorry, 6 or 7 is too close to 5. So again, we can... This is really interesting, the way you can sort of extend the colouring. Now, I've got a 1-2 pair in this row. So these are from 5... Oh, look. Right, so these are from 5, 6 and 7. But one of those is a black dot digit. So that's got to be 6, because 5 and 7 cannot go on black dots, because 2.5s and 3.5s and 10s and 14s are not valid options. So this is 6, this is 3, this is 3, this is 7. So that's a 5 now. That's blue, isn't it? And these squares are a 1-9 pair out of absolutely nowhere. There's it. Oh, that's a 3. And that digit's a 6. That digit's a 7. So all of a sudden we've done a load of stuff. 7 and 6 are purple digits. 3's are green digits. This is wonderful, isn't it? It's just wonderful. It's really interesting. I'm not normally the most massive fan of Dutch whispers, I have to say, but this is definitely an exception to that rule. So if that can't be a 5, so it's got to be purple. 5 and 3 are not far enough apart. That's got to be purple. Not sure. Not sure where we take that. We do know, don't we, that the path doesn't go through there, so we can extend the path here. So we either go that way or that way. How does... I suppose it's going to be Sudoku that teaches us which of those options is valid, because there shouldn't be a... It's strange that there's a choice, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So from here, which is a high digit, a 7, 8 or a 9 by Sudoku, we either go up or down. But because 5 has already appeared in the column, we're going to go into a green digit, aren't we? There's a green digit on the path in one of these two positions. And then... So green is a low digit. Yeah, okay, so then whichever one of these we go, whether we go up or down, we're in the low digit position. So we're going to, our next digit is either going to be here or here. And the question to ask then is that a purple digit? And the answer is yes, because it can't be 5. Because imagine we go down and this is a 5. Well, given that this is the green digit on the path, what's this? We must go 1, 5, 9, and that 9 is going to clash. So you can't put a 5 in either of those positions, because this digit would be a 9, because these digits are definitely from the low set. So to be next to a 5, they would have to be a 1, and we'd have to go 1, 5, 9. So the next digit in one of those squares is a high digit. And well, it's a high digit that can't be a 9. So that digit cannot be a 5, and that digit is definitely green, and that digit is absolutely ridiculous. That is a 4. And the reason it's a 4 is it's not a 5, we've worked out, so it retains its polarity. So it's a green digit that sees a 1, 2 and a 3. So it has to be a 4. And that digit has to now be 4 away, and it's not 8. So that digit is 9. Now, do we need a change of polarity or not, is the question now I'm suddenly asking. Well, I have to have a change of polarity. Yeah, this has to... Yeah, look here. This should be purple if there was no change of polarity. But there is, because it's green. So that has to be 5 to allow the polarity to shift. And that's a 1 and that's a 2. And this is not a 9. So, oh, I see. Yeah, this is lovely. How could we go to this square? If this is on the path, we know it's purple from the work we've done. But its only high digit option would be a 6, and 6 and 4 are not 4 apart. This is brilliant, Marty. It's absolutely brilliant. Right, so they're not on the path. This is on the path. This is on the path. That digit is 6 or 8 by Sudoku. and 8 is the only one of those that's far enough away, so that becomes 7. This digit is 1, 3, or 1. It's 1 or 3. It's got to be 4 away from 7, which 1 and 3 are. Okay, so now we will ask ourselves, what's this digit? That's 6, 7, or 9 by Sudoku, and no, it could be all of them. All of those digits are far enough away from 2. Okay, sorry, I'm not seeing anything now. 3, 5, 6, 8 into these squares. Yeah, oh, I see. Where's... No, sorry, this is obvious. Where's 3 in this row? The answer is there. So these are 5, 6, and 8, which looks at first blush like we're going to get chocolate teapotted, actually. Okay. That being a 3 means one of these is a 3, but we don't know which one, or I don't think we do anyway. Four is in one of those. Can that be 4? That would be 2 or 8. Answer, maybe. Oh, bobbins, I don't know what to do. Where are we're here? We've got to make a decision about where we go next. But I mean, why couldn't we go there? Just straight down, go across here. That can't be a 4-8 pair, so we couldn't go straight through that. I don't think this is under very much pressure. I'm sort of looking at the Sudoku options for it. I'm not sure. I genuinely cannot see it being under very much pressure, so there must be something else I'm meant to be spotting. We don't... Oh, do we know what that is now? We know... Yeah, we do. This is 3, 6. Oh, that's helpful. That's going to give me a 3 here. I'm just going to double check that. It can't be 1, 2. It can't be 2, 4. It can't be 4, 8. So it is 3, 6. That's not 3. So that's 3. Now there is a 6 exactly there then. So these squares are 2 and 7, which means that's 2, that's 7, that's 1. We can colour all these digits in, so we may as well. I enjoy doing that, so I'm going to colour them in. I don't know what this is. Might get a 3 in the corner. That is not 4, 8, it's not 3, 6. So it's either 1, 2, which it's not, or it's 2, 4. So it's 2, 4. This is where we look up and find we've got a Sudoku problem, but it does seem to still be working. So this is 1, 5, and this is 9, 8. So the cupcake is quite a high digit. Ah, okay, but now this is important, isn't it? Because now we can't come to this square on the path. Because if we do, well, there are two possibilities. Either this is a green, this is definitely, these are indisputably green digits, aren't they? So, and this digit, if it was on the path, would have to be purple, because it can't be 5, because 4 and 5 are not far enough apart. So this would be purple, and that would be purple, and we'd have 2 consecutive purples on the path, which is impossible. So the path goes here. Now, what's this then? This is either green or 5, and it is not green. Ah, that's beautiful as well. Look, it's just by Sudoku. It sees 1, 2, 4, and 3, so that is a 5 on the path, which if it's a 5 on the path, we know that's a 9, don't we? It's got to be 4 away. That's doing the 9 and the 8. That's done the 5 and the 7 at the top. So now we might be able to do... I mean, it's ridiculous, but we might be able to do some Sudoku here. Those are 6 and 7. 3 is green. What about those digits? We need to put... No, 2 and 9. No, we can do that. That's 2, that's 9. That seems to be fair enough. So this should be 1, 4, 7, a snooker maximum. which might be true. That's not 4, that's not 7, that seems to be either. But that can't be 7 on a black dot, can it? So now the 7 does get placed. We can take the pencil mark 4 out. This digit is it's not a 1, because this would have to be a 2. So that's 4, that's 1. This is 8 or 2. Well, it's 8 then. So that's 6, that's 5, that's 8. This is 1, this is 9. All of a sudden Sudoku is being very friendly. This is a 7-9 pair. Well, we need something that will work on the black dot at the bottom here. It's going to be 2, 4, isn't it? Because 5, we haven't put 5 into the column, so that must be 5. This must be a 2, 4 pair. These squares are 1, 3 and 6 down here, although we have no black dots to help us with that. I think I'm just going to carry on with Sudoku, and then we'll investigate. Well, actually, I can see the path must go downwards, because this digit here is too close to 5. So we do go down here, but we can't. Oh, right, okay, yeah. This must be a 9. Because we need a digit that's 4 away at least from 5. So it's the only thing this can be is 1 or 9, and it can't be 1. So there is a polarity shift there as well. So now we must go here. Now that one. Oh, hang on. Let's make sure we colour these digits in, because I like to do that. 8, 9, 6, 7, 8. They're all purple. 1, 4, 2, 1 are all green. 5 is definitely blue. 5 is definitely blue. So this digit, which can't be 5, is therefore green, and it's therefore 1. I can do that. That should be a 3 or a 6 by... Oh, bobbins. 3 or 6 by Sudoku, but it doesn't seem to be resolved. Alright, let's return back to Sudoku. 5, 8 down here. Down this column, 2, 4, I think. Oh, okay, so something about the path is going to have to resolve this, because that's a deadly pattern on 2s and 4s, and I'm very confident this puzzle doesn't have 2 solutions, because Marty Sears set it. Right. So how does this resolve then? Oh, we also have to bear in mind that here we could go diagonally, couldn't we? We could go to that square if that's a 6. Okay. Well, I don't know what the path does, but how does the path get to the cupcake once it's going in sort of a westerly direction from down here? It's got to go down the bottom row, doesn't it? It can't go through here at all. So the path does go down there. And that means, well, it means this digit is resolved, because this digit can't be 5, because this digit can't be 1 or 9. So that's definitely 8, which means that's 5, which means that's 5, and that's 1, which means that's 1. And this is a path relationship, so that's got to be the 6, that's got to be a 3, that's got to be a 6. This, oh, I didn't get a 3 in the corner. I just didn't. Isn't it? This is all filling in. So all I've got to do now is figure out what's going on with the path. Yeah, okay, so from here we are going diagonally, look. Because if we do pop down to the 5, we'd need to find a 9 to go and visit, or a 1. And we can't go diagonally to there. And we'd have to go to the 6, and 5 and 6 are not far enough apart. So we do go diagonally there. We go 1, 8. Oh, hang on, I've broken the puzzle. Oh no, right. Yeah, oh, this is lovely. Okay, so we can't... We're in this square, definitely on the path, so we need a digit that's at least 4 away from this digit. Well, the only digit that's even remotely possible is 7, but from the 7 we can't go to the 8, they're too close together, so that's not allowed. So then we have to go down, and we're going to have to go along the bottom of the grid, and then we're going to have to go up to the 1. And 1 and 4 are too close together. So that's the path. We've done the path now, and I see, and that resolves the 2-4 pair, because we can't put 4 here because 4 and 7 are too close together. That is absolutely, what a finish that is. So all we're left with doing is making sure that we do all our colouring correctly. I'm very happy to do that. There we go. 5s we know are blue, and everything else in the puzzle is purple. And that, I think, is how to solve it. Oh, experiment completed successfully. Cells visited 39. Blackcurrants eaten 3. The transition to full-size maze appears to have had no negative effect on Fink's performance whatsoever. She? Oh, I didn't realise it was she. Oh, sorry. I think I've said he throughout. Got the pronouns wrong. She showed high levels of self-control, rejecting the blackcurrants that would have been detrimental to her overall goal, whilst enjoying those that happened to lay on the correct path. Absolutely brilliant. 20 days old, 313. Do I like it? I certainly did. Absolutely spectacularly brilliant, Marty. I think you can be very sure that we will try the next one in this series as and when we see it. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you had a go at the puzzle. If you do leave a comment, I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.